Hi. How is everyone today? Oh. How is everyone? All right, let me go over here and here. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do this. Let's refresh this cache. There we go. There it is. Hi, Terry, how are you? Really, BJ? I heard you go upstairs. You're like, oh, she's getting started. I'm gonna go upstairs on the computer. I'm at BJ's house, by the way, in the basement. And he's 2 floors up, so yes. Hi, Amber, how are you? How are you guys? So I realize that the room I'm in is a little echoey, so I'm gonna try not to project my voice as loud as I normally do. And that's fine. That's totally okay. How's everyone been the past week? You ready to continue on with the back block? Now, and don't forget, if you're not used to watching me on YouTube Live, don't forget, take your mouse and hover over the very bottom left of the actual screen. It'll be right down there somewhere. And make sure it has that little red button and it says live. So if it doesn't say that, then click on that live and make sure that you're live so that we can have some interaction if you want. So, hi Shelly! Yay! Excited for part 2. So, here's what we're gonna do today. Last week we went through all of the how to read the directions, went through basic cutting, all the rotary cutting stuff. We cut out all of our pieces. We did all of our stripping, all of our combined fabrics together and stripping, and then we cut those. I started by showing you how to lay your pieces out. So if you're with me last week, you already know this next step I'm going to go over. So if you haven't already done it, you can start laying your pieces out. And then I'm actually going to lay my pieces out and show you how to pin them as I'm doing each row. So I'm going to do row 1, lay it out, show you how we're going to pin it, do row 2, same thing, and then we'll start sewing it. I'm going to give you a couple of tricks, some tips, easy ways that I've discovered that you can make pixel quilting even faster and better. But yeah. And remember, don't forget to ask questions. I'm going to be editing all of this video to make it easy to digest for like a nice video for those of people that can't be here live, but you guys are live, so feel free to ask questions. I'm more than happy to interact, and just like a class, right? Nice, Terry. Fantastic. So what do you think of the camera setups? This is what I've spent the last couple hours doing, is setting all of the cameras. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? So I've got this over here. I got my mat right there, and it's not behind me. Yeah. All right. So don't forget, that's true. That is true. So Lego has been threatening to bring a squirt gun down and spray me with a squirt gun. Yes, and Andy has a really good point. As long as he's upstairs and harassing me on the stream, on the computer, he's not down here. What do you mean, maybe? Oh, let me get my... Oh, you know what I can always use I can always use this water. I was trying to remember, I was like, wait, I forgot to get the water for my iron, but I don't need one because I've got water here I can pour in. When in doubt. Hey, Miss Elvain. Hey, Erica. How are you guys today? Hey, Erica, did I ask you if you're free on Sunday? Or were you, like, not around on Monday when I asked that? I don't remember. Because we're going to the Renfest in Maryland on Sunday, by the way. Okay. You guys ready? You ready to start doing part 2? Let's do part 2. Laying pieces out. So I touched on a little bit about this last week for laying your pieces out. I'm going to go over it again though, because we're going to do it line by line. I'm going to do row by row, and I'm going to show you how we're going to be pinning these. So if we take a look at row number 1, I've got my 2 pieces. Now remember, when you're laying your pieces out, Dang it. Dang, Erica. Okay. I think you told me that. When you're laying your pieces out, make sure you're looking at the pattern and what they refer to for the actual pieces. So for example, this piece right here, whenever we are cutting it, that's what it looks like. So of course, it's the same exact picture on the pattern itself. So keep an eye out on that and look to see, try to keep an eye on which pieces you're supposed to do ahead of time. So we've got these two already, and then we're going to need this one. Now this third piece, it is a combined piece. In this case, it does not make a difference which way your seam points, because it's not going to be sewn to another piece. And I'll show you what I mean in future rows. So we've got that one right there, and then let's lay out two more. So we've got all of our pieces laid out for row 1. Now, if you take a look at row 1, it looks like the arrow is pointed to the right. So arrow's pointed that way, to the right. I like to do an easy trick of sewing and ironing all in one go before checking to see which way the seam has to go. So an easy way that I've learned is if the arrow's going to the right, you want to pick up the right piece and put it over that left piece and then pin it into place. Because then what's going to happen after you sew this and then you take it to the ironing board and you iron it, it's automatically going to get ironed this way, and that's the way that the seam needs to go. Okay, so if this seam is pointing to the right, right over left, and pin that into place. Now, if you notice for row number 1, we only have 5 pieces. It's an odd number. So we have a lone little piece right here that cannot be matched up with another piece. That's perfectly okay. It is okay to have those lone little pieces all by themselves because we're going to include them the next time through. Okay, so that is row number 1. So row number 2, let me start to lay out those pieces. I've got that one and that one, a combined one of those. And remember, there's no Miss Halloween, did you mean to time Shelly out? Or was that an accident? Is the black and brown upside down? Uh-oh. Did I do it? No, it's not. Yes. Yes, it is upside down. It is absolutely upside down. Okay, okay. Is there any way you can time her out? Thank you. Thank you very, very, very much, Erica. All right, this way. To make sure I've got that. Thank you. I know it was a lazy fit. I know you probably didn't mean to. That's why I was like, wait, I saw this thing? We apologize, Shelly. There we go. Miss Elvain's fixing it. You'll be fine. Thanks, Erica. Okay, so back to row 2. So same thing with the first row. This one is not being sewn on either side to another combined piece, so we don't have to worry about which way that seam points. The next one is this one right here. And then, now, this next one is a black and a gray combined piece. It does matter which way the seam goes, because our seams point to the right, okay? So our seams point to the right, so we need to get the piece that is pointing towards the gray. So from black to gray. So, because it needs to go that way. So our seams are going that way because the seam, wait, no, I'm wrong. I'm absolutely wrong. I was looking at the wrong one. Row number 2 has to go towards the black because the seam's pointing to the left. I was still thinking of row number 1 to the right. Row 2 is to the left, that way. All right, and then we've got a combined brown and black small piece. And one of those, and one of those. Now this, like I said, the row number 2 is going to the left. So we're going to take our left piece, flip it over the right piece, and pin that into place. Because if I sew this and then iron it, it's going to go that way, which is where we want it to go, to the left. All right, so let's do the rest of row number 2. And then row number 3, I'm going to show you how to line it up if you have combined pieces next to each other. All right, and it looks like row number 2 has an even number of pieces, so we don't have any pieces left out. There we go. Perfect. All right, and then row number 3. You start to lay these pieces out. So we've got one of those. I've got one of these this way. I've got one of these. Now, here's the trick. We've got 2 of these next to each other. So one going this way and one going this way. The seams need to go in opposite directions. So in the case of what I did is I got them both going towards the black. So in this case, it's going to the black and it's going towards the black. So that way, whenever I pin them together, they're going to be able to line up and nest for perfect points every single time. Okay, so whenever you're laying these out, make sure that those seams are going in opposite directions. That's why we're sewing these rows with the seams going in opposite directions, because remember, we talked about this earlier, you want to nest those seams so you get those perfect points. So we've got that one, and then there. And then of course row number 3, our arrow is pointing to the right. So we are going to pick up the right over left and pin that into place. So at this point, I'm going to speed up the video. Now that I've shown you how to lay all these out, I'm going to finish laying all of my pieces out. I'm going to pin them all, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how we're going to sew them. Fantastic. BJ, what are you doing see, YouTube modding is so weird compared to Twitch modding. We're sorry, Shelly. All right. So this is 3. So this is right over left. So arrow goes to the right, so right over left. Now, what I always do, and I haven't mentioned this, but I'll mention it the next time around, I always like to pick up this from the same area when I'm going through my rows. So in this case, I always start with that first piece on the left. So whenever we're going through the next, what I call pass, whenever you're sewing them, you may skip the first one and then go to the next one. Yay! Shelly's back. Fantastic. Oh, thank you so much for being here, Sharon. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Now remember, for everyone that's watching live, I will be editing this, and this will be my YouTube live video that I put out on the last Tuesday of the month. So this is still going to be saved as a live video, so you can watch this at any point. You can rewatch this, or you can wait and rewatch it at the end of the month if you need to, for the tips and tricks. Yeah, oh yeah, I know. Yeah, you can completely, you're like, oh wait, that was a 3, 4. That was a mistake. I should be able to undo that, right? Yeah, no, not on YouTube. And I'm gonna start grouping these up. There's that. Nice, Terry. Terry, if you're working ahead, whenever you're stitching them, chain piece them. You will be so much happier. And what I'm doing now towards the black is I'm grouping them by 2s because that's how I'm going to pin them. Okay, here's row 4, so it's to the left. So the arrow's to the left. So I'm picking left over right and pinning it into place. Miss Elvane, are you feeling any better? I know you've been fighting a headache. Nice. I know, right? Like, I will never forget whenever I finally was like, okay, I'll try this chain piecing thing, and I'm like, wait, hold on, this is a lifesaver. I love chain piecing. And I'll talk chain. For those of you that don't know chain piecing, I know Terry knows what I'm talking about, which is why I said make sure you chain piece. For those of you that don't know about chain piecing, I'll explain when we get there. Okay, so this is row number 5. There we go. And this is to the right. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We may have a cat visit us, which we knew was going to be a possibility here. Hello, Mystic. And then here, and then towards the black. Hello. And then black. Oh, here comes Minnie. To the brown. And then to the brown. Hi. Hi. This is Mystic. Hello. Hi. This is Minnie. Hi, Minnie. Really? You don't say. I know. I'm sorry, Mystic. I'm sorry. Mystic is such a good streamer kitty. Not like Minnie, who demands all the attention. I know. I know. You know, Miss Elvane has a tortie. She loves torties. She does. Say hi. Yes, they are. They are. Yeah. I jokingly said, I wonder if they hear me talking to myself, if they're gonna come down and start to pose and start to talk. And yeah, look at Mystic. Mystic's just staring right at the camera like, excuse me, I would like biscuits, please. I know. Would you like cookies? Yeah, I know. Okay, you're just go with me. I'm gonna put you down now, okay? Because I'm gonna keep sewing. I gotta keep laying these out. I gotta keep working on them. I gotta keep working on these. Yeah. There we go. Okay. All right, where was I? This is row number 5. So row 5 goes to the right. So I'm taking right over left and putting that into place. Now remember, when you're sewing these, we talked about a regular 1/4 inch and a scant 1/4 inch last week. If you're already working ahead and sewing, if you use a scant 1/4 inch in order to sew your strips together, make sure to use a scant 1/4 inch in order to sew these together, because you want to be consistent. If you don't know what a scant 1/4 inch is and you just used a 1/4 inch, that's fine. Just keep doing what you were doing. Okay, and then row 6. And this is going to the left. So I need to go the combined brown, black towards the brown. Then I need 2 more of these, there and there. The last one of those, I love it. Personally love it when I use up pieces. So whenever pieces start to disappear, I'm like, ooh, that means I am almost done. And then towards the black. Nope, that's towards the brown. This goes towards the black. And then brown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. I like to, 6 is to the left. So I like to double count because I mess up my own things all the time. As you saw in row 1, I flipped a piece already, and if it wasn't for Erica, I wouldn't have discovered it until I actually sewed it and ironed it and had to fix it. So it's something where I tend to put extra pieces or forget a piece. Okay, and then this is then row 7, 8, and 9. So we got 3 rows to go. This is to the left. Here we go, row 7. Brown, one of those. I've got that there. And then that one. Oh, and then I'm finally using these 2. That one. There. There. Oh, you can't even see it down here. This is what I'm putting down there. There, there. There, there, and then there. Okay, and this is going to the right. I have to keep remembering it's not like my cutting table at home. I've got to make sure it's on camera. This is to the right, yes. All right, 2 more rows and then we'll start sewing. And I'll show you how I sew them, and then we get to iron our first pass. Now, whenever you're pinning these, I don't think I've mentioned this before, but I always pin not just the ends, but the seam as well. Because whenever I'm sewing it, I don't want that seam to pop open and lay around, or else it could cause extra bulk that you don't need in your quilt. Okay? Okay, row number 8. Just gonna have that. And then this one. Oh, and then these 2. So there. And then up. These are in opposite directions. There. There. And there. Fantastic. Okay, let's go into the left. Perfect. Anyone having any problems, issues? that is this one. That's right. That's on the one end. Wow, I almost confused myself. Yeah. That never happens. I never confuse myself, ever. All right, so I've got that one, and then there, there. Oh, here, I should probably put these up here. So I've got that, and that, with one on the end. Great. And then this is to the right for row number 9. No, not ever. Not ever. Ever. And then there. Yep, right over left. Pin it into place. And here we go. Great. And we're all pinned. Ugh. All right, so that one. There it is. That's what I want. You know what I forgot? I forgot a scrap. Where's my scrap? Did I bring one? I don't think I did. All right, let me get one. Let me make a scrap. Yeah. I'll use that for scrap. Oh, I know. Yeah, no, I can't believe I forgot my scrap. Scraps are important in chain piecing. Okay. It's time to sew. So I'm going to be chain piecing. I have a video all about chain piecing. It is, if you're watching this as a recorded video, the link is down below. If you're watching me live, you can just search chain piecing on my YouTube channel and it'll pop right up. I'm going to give you a basic overview of chain piecing, but the video will give you a more in-depth. Basically, chain piecing, you want to have a scrap of fabric. So we've got a scrap of fabric in there that's going to start as our base. Then we take our pieces and we put them in. Now remember, kids, do as I say, not as I do. Please do not sew over your pins. It is a horrible, horrible bad habit that I have and not a very good one. Now, we're going to remove our scrap fabric for right now and we're going to enter it in again whenever we finish. So we're just going to go through and sew our pieces. And then I'm grabbing the next row. So this is row number 9. Now I'm grabbing row number 8. And I'm putting row number 8 in. Now after I start sewing row number 8, I'm going to trim row number 9 away. And at this point, I'm going to separate all of my pieces. And then I'm going to lay it back out again. So then I'm going to take row number 9. Now remember, I'm still keeping them facing the same direction because that's important. Because whenever we pin these, this is the way that I want to iron it to make sure that my seams are pointing in the same direction. So that is now row number 9. And that's all you're doing. Now there's ways that you can speed up your chain piecing a little bit. I know there's a couple of handy dandy chain piece separators, like the Gypsy Quilter makes some, Clover makes one. There's a couple of companies that make them. Just take a look at the chain piece separators, or again, I've got this linked on most of my videos, especially on the chain piecing video. I link the Gypsy Quilter one. So go ahead and sew your rows then. Don't forget, keeping them the same, facing the same direction. Do not flip your pieces over. And then whenever you're putting your next one in, cut away the previous one. Separate your pieces and put them back down. So in the case of the chain piecing, you just do just like that to separate them. It's super easy. So at this point, I'm going to speed the video up. I'm going to finish sewing all of my rows, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how we're going to iron them. I know. We don't have the pin command here because I'm not supposed to be sewing over my pins, but I was like, at first when I started YouTube live streaming, I was like, you know what? I'm not doing it. I'm going to slowly try to get out of the habit. Yeah, that didn't last very long. That did not last very long at all. We should probably add the pin command to YouTube because, yeah. Oh, is that why I can sew over my pins? Because I'm at your house and the rules don't apply when I'm not in my own studio? Thanks, BJ. Thanks. I keep forgetting I can call you BJ and Andy because that is what your YouTube. Oh no, I guess it's Brickhammer is on YouTube as well. I guess. And this pass really does take the longest. Oh, I normally do a 2.5. Honestly, for piecing, it's not like with foundation paper piecing, Shelly. A standard stitch length of 2 to 2.5 is fine. As long as it's not a basting stitch, which is like the long 3 one that you can easily cut out. Just a standard stitch is fine. That's actually a great question, thank you. Honestly, whatever is the default for my sewing machine is what I do for basic piecing. It's really only foundation paper piecing that you have to worry about your stitch length, and that's lowering it a lot because you want to have them so tightly together that it perforates the paper enough that you can take the paper out. And that's why you lower that stitch length. Not because you really should have a low stitch length, but because you want to easily perforate that paper to take that out. We don't have to worry about that here. So is everyone that is making this along with me busy sewing or finished sewing? So I know a lot of you got a nice head start because you were here last week, and so you had your pieces all laid out already, and all you had to do was pin them. And that's why I did that last week, because I tend to go a bit fast. Oh. You know what, Shelly, that's a great point. So if you're making a super small quilt, so in this case, these pieces are smaller than my normal ones, but if you're making a super, super tiny quilt, then yes, you definitely want to lower your stitch length. I would do it about a 1.6. So so if you're making smaller pieces, because it's not necessarily about keeping it together, but you want to lower that stitch length because you want it to iron nicely. So because you want to iron that, by lowering that stitch length, you're going to have, it's going to be more secure. So the iron, it's going to be flatter and nicer whenever you iron that. I remember seeing the miniature chocobo. It was awesome. Did you ever put that in my Quite Nerdy Quilters Facebook group? I don't remember. I don't remember if I saw that or not. If not, you should put that in there. Yeah, but like I said, that's why the experienced quilter suggested that. It was because of the to keep it straight for ironing. Yeah. What is the QNQ? I think is the command. Exclamation QNQ. Yeah, a new. You mean a cutting mat? Yeah, a cutting mat and an ironing board are important things that you may want to have before doing this stuff. Yeah. It is Q&Q. There you go. Yep, so there's the Quite Nerdy Quilters Facebook group. And if one of my mods doesn't see your request before I'm finished, then I'll approve you at the end of the stream. In fact, Terry just posted a really, really awesome Critical Role quilt that she's making today. It looks so cool. She messaged me because she's doing some reverse applique, and I'm like, have you posted this yet? You need to post this. So Kilias, depending upon the mat that you're looking for and price range, Martelli makes a really, really great mat. I've got links in a bunch of my videos to it, to grabbing one off of Amazon. It's a double-sided mat that's like extra thick. So most of the time, if you travel and don't forget your scrap at the end, except for your last one. So if you're traveling and you leave your mat in the car, it can warp and bend. The Martelli mats are so thick, it's thick with 2 C's, that it actually warps back into place. Like, it literally folds back in place. It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. It's fantastic. Like, and that's what I'm using right here. That's what this is. This is a Martelli mat. And I brought this with me from Canada, and I travel with it because I love it. Okay. That one. That's the one. Phew. Yeah, no, it looks super cool, Terry. Like, I'm so happy that you shared it. That you shared it to the group. It looks really cool. Ironing. Now, remember, when we iron, it should stay just like this. Oops, let me go up here, that way you can actually see. There we go. It should stay, so here's row number 1. It should stay flat just like that. So when I lay these down for row number 1 and iron it, it should be already fine. So whenever you iron, make sure you iron your seams, because that's going to lock those seams into place and help whenever you're ironing it to one side. Because you do not want to stretch and warp your fabric, it would affect your project. So by locking those seams in, you're making sure that those are nice and straight. So I'm just going to take these and I'm going to lay it on that first row. And I'm going to take that second row. I'm going to lay these out. And same thing, we're locking these seams into place and then ironing it to the one side. So I'm going to speed up the camera, we're going to do some ironing, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how we're going to lay this out and start our second pass for pinning it. There we are. You're welcome, Killian. And that is, I think it took me 4 or 5 mats before I discovered the Martelli mats. And I was like, you know what? They're so good. I really, really need to just get one of those. And I remember getting a smaller one, and I loved it so much I had to get the really big one. Go. Oh, is it dinner time for the kitties? Oh yeah, I don't think I've shown reverse applique on any of my streams before, Terry. So the technique that she's using for the flames, Miss Elvain, is reverse applique. That's, you know what, I should do a tutorial on reverse applique. I've got a tutorial on applique. I should not do one for reverse applique. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, and this mat gets beat. So Miss Elvain knows. Miss Elvain helps me at conventions. So this mat actually goes into my truck and trailer. And it gets pretty beat up and warped, but then it always flattens out to the regular size. So you never have to worry about making sure it stays perfectly flat as I travel. It was a form of reverse. Yeah. Yeah, the Twitch Rivals quilt was a form of reverse applique. It wasn't like the reverse applique method, but yeah, it was a method of it. Oh, the mat, about how warped and everything it was. You freaked out because did you think that it was going to not go back into place? You didn't tell me that. No, I haven't done a tutorial. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe I should add that to be done. I just gotta remember to add it to the list. Yeah, you didn't tell me that you freaked out that it was all warped. Oh, okay. Yeah, yes, Catherine, it is awesome. Like, I love them. You guys know I love the Martelli stuff. I mean, they're the ones that make my pixel templates. So we are coming out with templates for this quilt along. They just haven't been done yet because we were supposed to launch them at Quilt Market this year. Well, of course, there's no Quilt Market. So I'm going to get with them probably next week or the week after to see if they're ready. And then I will get an order placed. And if you are a store, you can get my templates for wholesale pricing if you go directly to Martelli. So I sell retail, but if you want to carry them in your stores, you can also get them from Martelli at wholesale. Oh, this is my mother's Aliso. Oh, did you just realize that I'm using an Aliso? Yeah, this is my mother's that I borrowed. This is my mom's iron. Hey, Erin! Oh, yeah. The first day I set up and it didn't have a home. I'll never forget, I did this on another mat, and because of the heat, it worked the mat, and I got so angry. There we go. Yes, it is an echo cathedral down here. Our pieces are ironed, so now let's lay them out for our second pass. So every time I actually go through and sew the pieces together, I call that a pass. All right, so let's take a look at row number 1. So row number 1, what we want to do is, needs to go to the right. So remember, we're looking to see where the arrow is pointing. Row number 1 is going to the right-hand side. So these 3, just like that, are row number 1. There are only 3 pieces left, and that's it. So I'm going to be efficient and pin both sides, all 3 pieces together at the same time. So I'm going to pin both the left and the right. So remember, if you have any seams, pin those seams to make sure that those seams don't flip back and get caught and add extra bulk to your project. All right, so here's row number 1 is ready to go. All right, and then row number 2. So row 2, our seams need to go to the left. So I'm gonna lay pieces out just like this, and they should be in the reverse order. There we are, and then there and there. So there we have 4 pieces, and we have an even number of pieces. So remember, row 2 is to the left, so I'm going to take left over right and pin that into place. Just like this. There we are. And I'm going to keep on going until we have an odd number to show you what we're going to do with odd numbers. Now, row number 3, our seams are pointing to the right. So I'm going to pick this up. I'm going to make sure my seams go to the right. So you see how that seam right there is moving to the right. So that's what I want to do. And then this one, oh, this one, I did it this way. It goes there, there. Uh-oh, nope, what did I do? Uh-oh. I ironed that one wrong. I ironed 2 of them wrong. Hey, look, at least I laid them out, but somehow I must have flipped something, either when I was pinning or when I was ironing. It's perfectly okay. If that happens, you can just re-iron those. So let's make sure that this all is good. There, there, there. Yep, I have not sewn anything incorrectly. So what I need to do is it needs to go to the right. So I need to re-iron these 2 pieces. There we are. That now goes to the right. And let's re-iron this one. Because remember, it doesn't matter how long you have sewn. It does not matter if you think you know all the things about sewing and quilting. You're gonna still make mistakes. It is perfectly okay. All right, so row number 3, going to the right, so taking right over left, and pinning that into place. There we go. Arm, right over left, and pin that into place. Do you know how many times I pick up pieces wrong, or I iron them wrong, or I flip things. Yeah, no, if I mess up, I would rather have it be because I've ironed it wrong. All right, row number 4. This goes to the left. Okay, so I've got that one. And what I'm doing is I'm checking against my pattern as I'm laying the pieces out to make sure that it all matches. Oh, here we go, we finally have one. So in row number 4, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. I've got 5 pieces now in row number 1. Now, remember in row number 4. This is row 4. 4. In row number 4, I've got this little odd piece that was left all alone. All alone. Well, we want to include this little piece now. It's okay to be alone, but it's also okay to be included. So you want to include it this time. So I'm going to skip this one right here, and I'm not going to pin this one. I'm going to pin the rest of them. So row number 4 goes to the left. So I'm taking left over right. And I'm pinning this into place. Oops. That was a little off. Let's fix this. There we are. Now you're good. There we are. Left over right. There we go. And that's how you do all the pinning for the second pass. So I'm going to keep on pinning. I'm going to finish pinning the rest of these rows. I'm then going to go to the sewing machine, sew them, which you've already seen how to chain piece and separate them. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to iron them, which you've already seen. And then I'm going to stop fast forwarding the video whenever I show you the last pass before we can start actually sewing our finished rows. Well, not the last pass. Next to last pass, because the last pass is sewing those rows. Okay, so next to last pass. Wait, so unsewing builds character? It does. It does. Using seam rippers builds character. All right, so this is to the right. So row 5. Now, the also thing that I like, whether it is a block or a quilt or whatever you do, I also love how it takes less and less time to sew the rows the more passes you do. So 5 is to the right, 1, 2, 3. I got 5 pieces, so I'm skipping this first one. Even though I don't have a lonely little piece at the end, I still want to skip that first one because I want to be consistent throughout the entire thing. Okay, and unlike at my house, I dropped a pin and I have to get it right now so the cats don't eat it. And this is why I use a magnet. Where do you go? Where did the pin go? Did I not drop a pin? Oh, there it is. Oh my gosh, it's all the way over here. Got it. I got it. Phew. Okay, back to row 5. To the right. But by being consistent, you lessen your chances of making a mistake. Okay, and then row 6 is to the left. Okay, and then there's 1, 2, there's 5 again, so I'm going to skip that first one. So row 6 is to the left, so left over right. Oh, you know what? No, the next one is the last pass. Wow, I am not thinking today. That's okay. I'm a little tired. Didn't get much sleep, but that's okay. That's what happens sometimes when I travel. Because my routine is thrown off. Okay, and then row number 7 is to the right. So let's make sure that these go to the right. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm skipping that first one. So right over left. then to the right, right over left. Do, do. I am not BJ. I am not trying to leave traps. I picked it up. I absolutely picked it up. Okay, so this is row 8 is to the left. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the left, so left over right. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, no, this will be the last pass. Nice. But that's an easy one. So I totally did not pick these blocks in the order that's going to be the easiest to the hardest. It was just honestly whatever looked good for the layout that I liked. But you can, of course, whenever you sew your blocks together, do any layout that you like. Okay, so there's 4 in row 9 that's going to the right. So we're going right over left and pinning it into place. Go. Perfect. All right, let's do some sewing. Maybe BJ, maybe. Sorry, I'm catching up on my mod chat. All right, so let's sew this. And take all my pins out. Perfect. And then this goes over here. Yeah, and you notice whenever I sew them, I actually sew them from the bottom up. So I actually sew them in the reverse order, then I lay them out. I don't know why. I actually don't know why. It's go. So I know everyone is slowly working on theirs. Has anyone finished sewing and you're ready to start combining rows? Does anyone sew as fast as I do? BJ, do you have access to the Stream Elements? Did I ever give you access so you can make stuff? You should be able to switch it to YouTube then, because if I gave you mod power here, I probably gave you mod power on Stream Elements. So if you log into Stream Elements and click on channel, you may be able to switch over to the YouTube. I don't know if I've done that yet for you or not. Nice, Erin. Oh, you're still doing your individual rows? Okay. Terry's like, I'm not working on this right now. I am eating my food. You know, BJ or Andy, at the end of the stream, if you want, you can bring down some criminals. If you want to bring some cookies down. Why break with truth? That's true, Aaron. That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. I mean, if this is what you do for YouTube streams, you grab Taco Bell and just shove food in your mouth, I am totally okay with this. Considering you can always go back and re-watch these, either the live or the edited one that I'm going to be putting out in 2 weeks. And that's it. Now, whenever I'm sewing these, I am not doing row number 1. And I'm going to point that out after I do the ironing for the actual stuff. So for those of you that don't watch my Twitch live streams when we were talking about their kittens, Andy and BJ are fosters for kitten rescues. And they have a set of kittens right now that they call the criminals, or we call them the criminals too, because they're stinking cute. But because they actually are trying to get into all the things. Yeah. They're very mischievous little kittens. Okay, this is row number 2. So I'm actually going to make sure that when I lay row number 2 down, I'm pre-planning ahead of time, and I'm putting the seams facing to the left. Oh, I can't forget, this is row number 3, so this is to the right. I need to put a picture of the criminals in my Discord into the pet area. For those of you that are new to my live streams, I do have a Discord, which is kind of like a social, for those of you that are older like me, you may remember message boards. Discord is like a social media / message board all put together, and it has an area that you can talk and show videos and all sorts of things. So you can do live voice chatting, there's a lot of great things you can do. So if you're interested, it is !Discord if you would like to join us. Okay, this is row number 5, so it's to the right. But yeah, no, I put business things in there, I put posts. You also get notifications anytime I go live, either on YouTube or Twitch. And then we also share pictures of cats and stuff we're working on, asking questions. It's a cool area that I like to do. Yeah, so in chat, Terry, type !Discord, and the link to my Discord should appear. To the right. Maybe. Did we not set it up? Uh-oh. Oh, there it is. I'm like, I know we had a Discord command. There it is. So you just click on that and that's your invitation. Oh, Terry, did you decide to use the glow-in-the-dark fabric for this quilt, for the white? So I know we were talking about that last week. So I was wrong. I think this is going to be our last pass. All right, so let's take a look at it. Same thing. So now row number 1, I did not do anything with this. I did not sew this yet because this one's ready to go. It's a finished row, ready to do the final sewing. So I left that one alone. So all we're going to do for the rest of these rows is the same exact thing. So this is going to the left, so left over right, pinning it into place. So I'm just going right down, and I'm going to finish pinning all of these rows. Now, after I finish pinning all these rows and I go to sew them, see, this is row number 3, it's to the right, it's just like that. When I go to pin them, I'm going to group them up. So I'm going to actually take 2 rows at the same time to sew them because it's going to be more efficient and easier that way when I go to iron it, because I'll do a bunch at the same time. I take that back. Normally, I will do 2 at the same time, but in this case, I probably won't, now that I think about that. I'm just gonna do it like I normally do. However, oops, there's a 3. Some of these are 3s, meaning I have pinned both sides of it. So don't forget to sew both sides, and remember which row it belongs to. There we are. And then when you're oops, I almost forgot the other side. And then when you're ironing them, don't forget to iron the same way. Make sure your seams are going in that same direction as you're ironing those rows. Don't slack on making sure those seams are all going in that direction for the arrows. So at this point, I'm going to speed the video up. I'm going to finish laying all of these out. This is row number 5. I'm going to finish laying these out and pinning them. And then I'm going to sew them and then iron them and have my rows laid out, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how we're going to sew our rows together, which is very exciting. I love sewing rows together. Oh, Terry. Because doesn't Superior make a glow-in-the-dark yellow? That would be cool. And then you can always switch the white, especially for the ghost. You can do the Michael Miller Fairy Frost glow-in-the-dark for the ghost. Okay, so this is there. Oh, row 6 goes that way. There we are. Perfect. You know what? I wonder what this would be. White, yellow, green, and orange. Yes. Yeah, I think I remember seeing those too. You know, I wonder what this would look like in all Fairy Frost colors. Like, there's not like spoopy colors in the Fairy Frost except for the glow in the dark. The Fairy Frost is the glitter line for Michael Miller. But I mean, why not have a glitter spoopy Halloween? Like, that would totally be okay. That would actually be kind of cool. I wish that Northcott had a really good glitter line, because I love Northcott. They treat me so well. They're so good to me. I would love to do, like, if they had a glitter line of stuff, that would be awesome. Although my favorite line in the entire world is the Stonehenge. Yes, right? With the glitter black, yeah. It'd be super pretty. Ooh, I've never worked with Filtech, Catherine. Is it a stand, like what kind of quality is it? Is it normally for long arming? Is it for home machines? And what's the quality of it? I normally work with the A&E threads just because I'm an A&E ambassador. So I use a lot of Gutermans because a lot of my fan base, that's what they can afford, is the lower cost threads. And Guterman's a really, really high quality, good lower cost thread. and then the Robinson Anton, and then this is gonna drive me crazy. Signature, the signature thread. I love the signature threads. All right, let's sew this. Okay, there's a lot of things Thanks, BJ. Yes, there are a lot of things that will drive me crazy. You are absolutely right. Yes. You're absolutely right. Oh, okay, so Viltech is I've heard of Glide. Okay. Cairo Quilt. And then, okay. So for next week, I'm driving back on Tuesday. So if I do a stream, either an extra YouTube or a Twitch stream, it'll probably be on Wednesday. Should I do a YouTube tutorial or should I do a Twitch stream? Because I still owe a couple of things to my Twitch streams from the charity stuff. Oh, and for those of you that haven't been part of the Twitch streams, our St. Jude fundraising is starting in pretty soon at the end of November. For a couple of weeks, we're going to be raising money for St. Jude. And as we're raising money, you get a chance to win some amazing cool things that everyone else is donating. So it's not companies. So in May, all the companies donate the things. In December, it's people. So if you have any materials, finished pieces, if you participated in any of the sewing races and you have a quilt top you don't want, anything at all, any patterns you don't want anymore, anything else you want to give away, you can donate them and we'll give them away for donations to St. Jude. The only thing that I ask of you is that you mail it to the winners. So by doing that, you get a choice. If you want to mail it to your home country, if you want to mail it to your home continent, or if you'd be willing to mail it worldwide. Oh, that's cool. They started as an industrial thread for making safety suits. Oh, that's neat. Do they do Quilt Market? Because I don't know because I only know the thread companies that do Quilt Market, and I don't know if I've seen that. I know I've done stuff with Sulky. I love Sulky. And I've done stuff with Aurifil, which is a super high quality name brand one. Let me get this one. Nice, Erin! Thank you so much. That's gonna be awesome. Yeah, so when I get back, either next week or the week after, I'll have the sign-ups ready for everyone. So if you have things you would like to donate, you can fill in the sign-up so that we can start planning. I also, next week or the week after, am going to announce the date for the next race. Oh, I gotta send Oh, I gotta send Clover the winners. Because O Mouse, Jennifer, won Best of Show. So I need to send that to Clover. And I keep forgetting. So I gotta remember to do that tomorrow. All right, let's iron these rows. Okay. Now don't forget to lock your seams in as well as you're ironing this. Oh, nice, Catherine. Yeah, so the signature thread is made here in the States. However, the A&E company is Germany. So I know that they were having issues with supply and demand and that stuff at the beginning of the pandemic. Okay, this is to the right. I'm just going to fold this over and lay that down because I'm running out of room. You see how I do the threes? So I lock those seams in and then iron the whole thing. Uh-oh, there's some beady eyeballs. Look at those eyeballs. There we go. Okay, so now let's lay this out. There. Go 4 to the left. Row 5 is to the right. 6 to the left. 7 to the right. 8 to the left. And 9 to the right. And there is our quilt. There's our block. All right. How far is everyone? Has everyone that is sewing along with me, have you somewhat gotten to this point? Are you still sewing? I know I'm fast. And I get there. Or is everyone frantically sewing and so they can't type on the into chat? Nice, 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 Terry. Okay, all right. So Shelly's a little bit behind because sewing the first step. Nice. Well, I'm gonna wait a few minutes because the kitties are getting fed. So then that way we don't have to worry about it. Yeah, and that's okay. If you get behind, that's totally okay. This is why we set these for 2 hours. Yeah, because really all we have to do at this point is sew those rows together and we're done. Now, that's going to take about 10 to 15 minutes to sew these rows together. But yeah, but that's why we always set aside 2 hours. Yeah, and that's okay, Terry. I mean, you have a quilt shop. You're gonna get calls. You're not gonna be able to keep up with everything each week, right? Just the fact you're hanging out here is awesome. Oh, for those of you that do have quilt shops that are joining me for the first time live, I do make sure that all of my streams, both on YouTube and on Twitch, are family friendly and are PG, so are totally okay to stream while you're in the store, whether I'm live or just to go through any of my back videos if you want to use them in order to help sell patterns. That is one thing I do tell the quilt shops that carry my stuff, is that feel free, you can definitely put it on. And if I'm live, if you've got a keyboard nearby or if they pop on their phone, customers can ask me questions directly. Yeah. That's the thing. It is a good problem to have. The fact that you are getting phone calls is a great thing and is a really, really good problem to have. Okay. I think. No. I'll wait a minute. Oh yeah, now I hear all the dry food. So, BJ, how you have what? 1, 2, 8? And then the 4 kittens? I'm trying to think of how many cats are up there. Yeah, it is. It is chaos. It is absolute chaos. But it is wonderful chaos to watch. Like, I love watching the cats get fed. It is awesome. Yes, yeah. So counting Jane and Leo. Okay, yeah. So you have 6 of your own. And then, yes, but there's 8 up there plus the 4 kittens. I counted right. Yay! Thank you for being here, Shelly. So if you need to see how we combine these rows together to make sure with the nested seams, just pop into the live, just re-watch the live video up until this point. So it is at the, it is at the 1 hour, 37 minute mark. Oh man. Oh yep, I hear all the dishes going down. Miss Elvane. Ma'am, that's not very nice. She's making fun of me in the mod chat. In the chat that I've got with my mods. I think you need to share that photo with the class because apparently you think it's funny. Uh-huh. She's created something in the game she's playing. Oh, hi. She does think it's funny. No, it's Lego's basement, Aaron. It's Lego in Burkana's basement. And I'm just waiting because Burkana's upstairs feeding the cats dinner, so I'm just waiting because we've worked ahead pretty good, pretty well, and everyone's catching up. So I'm just waiting for dinner time to finish, and then I'll show how to do the rows, and then that way I don't have to edit a bunch of the video. It'll make it easier for editing. I've learned that easy editing is always best. Any questions on anything we're doing so far? As you guys are catching up? What is that, BJ? The help me. Fantastic. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, the nice thing about my patterns is once you've done one, they're all the same way. So the quilt alongs are at a smaller scale, but they're basically all the same. They're all the same layout, all the same designs, just different pictures. Well, technically it's Quilto, and then it would be me help me. So it'd be and I help me. So what's going to be my new emote? Are you going to design it? Are you going to design me a help me emote? I think they're done. Sounds like they're done. Okay. All right, let's do it. Let's do this. Honestly, it doesn't make a difference anywhere, Miss Elvane. It auto, I think it's the 112, and then it auto does it. Okay. We've got our rows. Let's sew our rows together. So this is how we're going to do it. I'm actually going to skip to rows 3 and 4 so I can easily show you here. What you want to do is take that bottom row and you want to flip it up over that top row, and then we're going to pin these into place. Now remember, I said you want to make sure that you nest these seams. So what you want to do is make sure that these seams are lined up so that they're going in opposite directions. There we go. So you want to do these in opposite directions. And if you do that and you perfectly line this up here, it's going to have a perfect point every single time. Now, there is a strategy to how you pin these together. What I always do is I find the very first seam that matches up, and I put a pin in that. And then I find the next one. So the next one is all the way down here. Now you notice that there's some seams on the top and the bottom between these two pins. That's okay. Ignore those for now, because all I'm doing for the first pass through with these pins is pinning those areas where it's lining up, and I need to make sure that I've nested those seams. Now that I've got all those pins, I'm going to go back and I'm going to finish pinning the rest of them. Now, if there is a section where you need to ease the seams, so for example, if between this area and this area, if either my top fabric or my lower fabric wasn't quite lining up into it, you would pull it, put a pin in the center, pull, center, center. The more pins you do, the better it's going to be if it's a little funky, if the top or the bottom doesn't quite line up. So you're putting pins in all of the actual seams. Then you're going to sew them, and that's it. So once you combine these rows, you're then going to sew all the rows. When you iron them, it does not make a difference which way your seam points as you're ironing. You can just iron it. You can iron your seams open or to the side. It's not going to make a difference in the bulk onto the back of your quilt because you've already ironed other seams in one direction. So that after you combine all those together, you just keep on going. You just keep combining your rows, and then you'll have your finished block. So I'm going to speed up the video, I'm going to sew, I'm going to pin the rest of these rows, I'm going to sew them, iron them, and I'm just going to keep on going, and I'm going to unspeed up the video whenever I show you the final block. Any questions? Oh, did the mic just peak? Do I have to repeat any of that? Because I looked down and it looked like the mic was in the red. Anyone? Anyone? Was it okay? I hate how there's like a 10-second delay for YouTube. Because the Twitch is almost instantaneous. The YouTube, there's a huge delay. I'm going to wait until someone tells me if the mic was okay, if it peaked or not, before I move on. I'm fine? Nothing? Awesome. Thanks, guys. Okay, so now I'm going to speed up the video and do all those things. So it doesn't make a difference to the sounds now. All right. Let's see. There's that one. And then that one. I don't think there's any others. And then this one. Perfect. In fact, you know what? Hi, Nick. I'm gonna sit while I do this. Yes, you could just sew over your pins. Because that is what we do here. No, in all seriousness, please don't sew over your pins. It is a horrible habit. Your quilt stores will appreciate you not sewing over pins, because you can throw the timing off on your machine and damage it. There we go. Hey, I didn't say that it was a good habit. I already know it's a bad habit. Well, technically now that this is all sped up stuff and I don't have to worry about editing it, yeah, whatever. Because there's an odd number, I've got one left over, so I'm going to leave that one down here for now, but then I'll make sure that I include it for the next pass, for the combining the rows together. Oops, come on. Sew them. There we go. Ugh. I can't go too fast because I'm sewing on a folding table. So it shakes the table too much. I go too fast. You didn't hear that. I just broke my thread. No one heard that, right? That wasn't a sound that anyone heard. There we go. Yeah, sewing on a folding table can be tough. All right. Let's take out my pins that you're not supposed to sew over. You know, when I first started sewing, I lived in a one-bedroom apartment by myself, and I didn't have much room, so I actually sewed on my kitchen table, and that's all I did. Is I had on my kitchen table, and then I had to move my sewing machine to put my mat on in order to use my cutting mat. And that's what I did for 2 years. Now after I do this one, I'm going to leave this one in because I still have an odd number of rows. So I'm not going to include this row in my next pass. So I'm just going to keep it in my machine and use it as my scrap. There we go. Oops, I am low on water. That's a trick a lady taught me at a quilt guild one time. I was like, okay, well, let me run to the sink and grab some more water. She says, no, I got a water bottle right here. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Oh, I just filled it. Thank you, BJ. he just brought down a thing of water in a pouring measuring cup.
Don't say we're not good hosts.
What?
Don't say we're not good hosts.
No, you're an amazing host. I didn't know he was doing that, so I used my drinking water. Okay, so we've got that. And there. Perfect. So I'm going to do these two together. Almost done. I only have these two, and then we'll combine it with the top one. And then we'll do our reveal. Now, normally I record my intros and my outros. However, I'm not in my home studio, so I'm going to wait and record those while I'm back in Canada next week. So after I do the big reveal, then that's it for the stream today. Now, the nice thing about these rows, if you're combining rows right now, is that you'll notice that as long as you have followed those arrows, everything's gonna line up nicely.
Boy, get out of it.
Sew these. Oh. And then I'm going to use my scrap to free these. And then I will pin all three together and sew them. So any questions while I finish this up on anything that we've covered today? Or anything you guys just want to share? Like Terry's amazing, by the way, if you're in the Quite Nerdy Quilters Facebook group, if you haven't seen it, you just joined us. Terry put up a Critical Role quilt that she's working on. It's awesome. Oh, did they extend the tax deadline to tomorrow? Really? I had mine done in February. Because I'm international, right? So I had to make sure that my taxes were all done pretty quickly. Because I've got different deadlines for both Canada and the US. So I just like to get it done. Okay, oh, so if you filed for an extension, it's due tomorrow. It's not an automatic, okay. Yeah, and remember I said it doesn't make a difference which way you iron these. So you can iron them all in the same direction, you can iron them in opposite directions, you can iron them open, it is completely up to you. Hello, Mr. Leo. The stream hasn't met you yet. Would you like to say hi, sir? Are you a good boy? Leo's a very good boy. This is Leo. Say hi, Leo. You good boy. Leo is the bestest boys. He's a good uncle to all the kittens. Yeah. He's such a good boy. I know. Uncle Leo's the best. All the kittens love him. They do. Yeah, when I'm at Andy and BJ's house, you get cats and kittens. He's not silly. He's handsome. He's a good boy. Look at that tail. Look at that tail swish. You are a good boy. He's not silly. He's a good boy. I know. Okay, well, I have to go back because I gotta finish doing this. When we're all done, we can have a kitten. We can have a kitten and kitty cat break. But I gotta finish this, so it's easier for me to edit it. That's what Leo says. Leo's like, no, you should be petting me. Excuse me, ma'am. You should be petting me only. It should. Excuse me, sir. What do you think you're doing? All right, I will pet you in a minute. Let me finish pinning this. Yes, that is my sewing table. Leo, hi. What do you think you're doing? He says, I'm gonna come up here. I'm gonna come up here so you can pet me. Hi. Are you a good boy? I can hear them laughing upstairs at you. Yes, I can. Hi.
Sir.
He says, I want love.
No. Oh, big bird.
Oh, I will pet you soon, honey.
Oh, shift change.
Oh, yep. Hi. Hi, baby. Okay, let me finish this really quickly. All right. I will pet you more in a minute. I'm almost done. Almost done. Oh, come on. Get. All right. Look at that. Even pausing for a bit to help let people catch up and chat, we're still going to be finished on time. Fantastic. All right, let's sew this. questions, issues, problems, and questions on anything we're doing? Oh, yeah. Oh, hold on. I have no thread. Somehow the thread broke. I love it when that thread breaks, don't you? Because we are almost done. There we go. There we go. Almost done. Yeah, no, I cannot wait to see everyone. So I've been thinking, and I will poll you guys. So we started a quilt along group just for the retro video gaming quilt along group. Should I rename that to just the quilt along and we make that the official one for here? Or should we just post them in the Quite Nerdy Quilters Facebook group? I'm leaning towards just the Quite Nerdy Quilters because it's for everything, right? Like, let's share all the things. And I share all the information on the blocks and everything else in that group. Oh, I did that, didn't I? Haha, I did the wrong one. That's okay. So, I think it just made it easier, just that everyone can share all the things. Oh, and I gotta remind my testers to share their blocks in there. Look at those beady eyes. Look at those beady eyes. All right. Ready? I give you block number 1, the bat. And this is what he looks like with the Northcott Toscana fabrics. Once you finish your block, at this point, you can either go ahead and square this block up. If you square it up, 18. Yeah, so you're squaring your block. It's going to be a 17.5 finished block. So at this point, you can square it up to 18 by 18, or you can wait and just square all your blocks up when you're ready to assemble. I'm always of the opinion to wait to square it up, just because if I have a block that's a little bit larger than the others or a little bit smaller than the others, I like to try to get them all the same size as the smallest block. But it's completely up to you. If you can square it now or you can square it later. Oh, that's it. That is the oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, the large group is the Quite Nerdy Quilters Facebook group. Yeah, so let's do that. It's a bat block. It is a bat block. It is an absolutely bat block. I love it. I love Toscanas. They're so awesome. A shy guy at a dark level? Yeah, that's funny. You guys are really awesome. Alright, so Mystic is in a hidey hole over there. That's it. That's it today. It's 7:26. Look at this. And we're finished. So if you don't have any other questions, concerns, like I said, I'm going to film the intro and the outro when I'm back in Canada. And then I'll edit all of this and I'll put it up on YouTube. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I super appreciate every one of you. And I will be back next week, definitely next week on Friday from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. I don't know. Oh, we're getting criminals. We're getting all the criminals. I don't know about Wednesday or Thursday if I'm going to do it yet. Here, come. You can come over here. You don't. Oh wait, hold on. Let me do the big one. There you go. There's. Meow. The criminals. They're gonna kittens. They're gonna kittens. Hi, Leo. Are you coming back? Look at Mystic.
Yep. He found it.
Are you all crying, Mew Mew?
Yes,
So,
she's not
so
very
Leo
sweet.
came down and went and used the litter box like a good boy, and then he came to bother me.
Of course.
And
Well,
you're a good boy.
because
You
that.
would move the block.
What? All right, go ahead. Hold on. I will turn that one on. Not that one. That one. There you go. Hi. What's happening here? Hi. Move over here. Yeah. Kittens. Hurting the cats.
Literally.
Hurting cats. Hi guys. Wait, go. Are you done? Are you guys done?
No,
All right,
this
they're
is too tall. We're confused.
Just go down. They just go down.
There you go. There you go. All the kittens. Oh, hi. I have a Leo in my seat now. Hi, Leo. Hi. Hi. Can I sit there for a minute?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a good boy. He's a good boy. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, I appreciate you guys. I will post on Monday what my schedule's going to be next week so you know when to join me again live. Goodbye.